Hey everyone, I just want to take a few minutes here this morning, or your evening, or night, whatever, to quick run through some updates to Geoflow. It's specifically around point cloud processing and generating DTMs and contours. So we added a new node called GDAL, which you can see here. And we kind of rethought and refactored our pipeline node. So previously, this PDL pipeline node, the way it worked is you'd have to have a different node for every operation that you were doing. So say you had a node to load a point cloud file, then you would have another node to, remove the noise, and then another one to ground classify it. We've consolidated that all into a single node. And the reason is the execution logic will treat it as a single atomic operation now without having to look at your entire workflow and analyze which nodes are part of that workflow. It's kind of confusing, and quite honestly, the logic to figure that out in code was kind of confusing. So this was a win-win, and I should have done this from the start, but apparently I'm a little slow. But now we have it, so that's good. So I'm going to run through with a point cloud example, generate some generated DTM, and then some contours, and hopefully try to do it as quick as I can, so I don't waste a ton of time. But I have this beaches LAS file that I'll use. So I'm going to add that as my first step to load it in the pipeline here. Second step, I am going to run a set classification, which I wouldn't normally do this, but I think this file actually might be classified already. So I'm just going to take all the classifications and just set them to 0, just so it basically resets that classification in the file. So after I set the classifications, I'm going to do a filtering for noise, which kind of puts the high and low noise and all that type of stuff in class 7. And then I'm going to do a ground classify, which is just going to use the recommended SMRF. I honestly don't know the difference between these. A good question for the PDL folks, but it's been working pretty good for me. And then I'm going to add a save file, and we'll call this... What was the original file called? We'll do this, and we'll say grounded. And we'll do an LAZ as copsy so we can view it in QGIS or Aura pretty easily. Okay, so after I got this first node here, I'm going to add another one. So this first node did our ground classification ultimately. So I'm going to add another pipeline here, another node. I'm going to load that file. So it's going to be this beaches.laz. I'm going to load that same file now. And I am going to generate a DTM. And I'll say this is called beaches.tiff, I guess. That works. So the second node here is creating the DTM. And I'm going to add a third node, which is the new node we created here in the last couple days here with GDAL, and we are going to generate contours. So the input file here is beaches.tiff. We're going to do a contour interval of 1, output format. Now let's do shapefile. And then we'll do beaches contour. Yeah, contours. Okay, that works. So I'm going to save this first, and when I hit execute, this is how big is this file? It's almost 2 gigs, so it might take 20, 30 minutes. I don't know how long it'll take on this MacBook here. But instead of running it the whole time and making you guys wait, I'm going to run it, show you a few other things we have on the back end, and then I'm going to cancel it and just show the results. So when I hit execute here, it's sending it off to our new backend. So we started using something called Moshe, which is awesome. And you can see this current execution running right now. So the first node's running, PDL pipeline, and you can see this PDL node right here running. So it started the execution, and now it's polling to see if it's finished. When it finishes, it'll go on to the next node, and you'll kind of get this I don't know what you call this timeline, but it's got really good observability baked in. You can see the different states that it's saving to for the different nodes. You can get your regular logs. But likely we're going to bake this into the Geoflow app itself. So you're not opening the Moshe workbench like this, but pretty neat nevertheless. I'm going to cancel this. Like I said, I ran this before, so we're not going to wait on it. But I have the files here, so I just save those in the results folder here. So we have beaches, contours as a shapefile. We have the DTM as a TIFF file, and then of course our point cloud as a CopCLAZ. So we have, let's start with the point cloud actually. We have our classifications, so I'm just viewing ground right now, but it did the noise classification and the ground, which is basically all that we asked of it in that fairly simple example. We have our DTM based off of the that point cloud that we just processed, and then the contours. So these are the intervals at 1. So this is, I can't even tell, 1 meter, 1 foot, probably 1 meter actually. But either way, this all came from this fairly simple workflow, which you could add a S3 node on to fetch this from some online cloud storage, a Google Drive, or you could set it as a schedule. You could re-upload it. Oops, didn't mean to click that. You could re-upload it to those services, Google Drive or S3 or R2, when you're done right here. You could add a Slack message at the end, or send an email to yourself with a link to it so you can view it right away. That type of stuff you can extend it with, but at bare minimum, this is a pretty easy way to ground classify, extract DTM and contours from a data set. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I can start making quick other short ones like this. If you have any questions or feedback, we have a Discord going, which is probably the easiest way to kind of go back and forth with us and yell at us, which is what you probably should do. But we have that link you can use to sign up. And either way, thanks for watching, and we'll try to make more of these as quick as we can just to keep people informed. All right, we'll see you.